In 2026, your attention is worth more than gold. Every app, notification, and headline is designed to steal tiny fractions of your focus, leaving you bankrupt of energy by noon. They are getting rich, and you are getting distracted. But what if you could install a neurological firewall in your brain? Today, I'm sharing the simple neuroscience rule to protect your new currency and enter monk mode on demand, no matter how chaotic the world gets. The big theft: how apps are designed to steal your focus every minute. The attention economy is built on tiny, repeated nudges that feel harmless but add up to a daily drain. Apps push you with alerts, badges, autoplay, and endless scroll, turning every moment into a potential reward. Your attention budget is taxed not by grand breaches but by a steady trickle of micro-invasions. The attention wallet is emptied not by a single heist but by a stream of small withdrawals. The dopamine thieves flourish in the spaces where unpredictability hides behind a familiar tap or scroll, rewarding you with fleeting pleasure just often enough to keep you coming back. And the Neuro-Gatekeeper, your brain's gatekeeper for focus, fights a constant battle to keep doors closed to distractions while these persuasive cues slip through more often than you think. Why willpower fails in this landscape becomes clear when you see how the system works. The algorithms behind popular apps are designed to deliver variable rewards, a setup that thrives on uncertainty and novelty. You don't just click once and stop. You repeat because the next hit might be bigger, the next notification might carry a compliment, a like, a fresh video, a comment. The pattern trains the brain to seek the next cue, and soon the act of opening an app becomes a reflex. The Neuro-Gatekeeper tries to hold steady, but constant exposure to tempting stimuli mutes its signal. In practical terms, your energy for resisting is a limited resource, and the moment you burn through it, focus slips away like sand through fingers. Algorithms exploit that vulnerability by making focus feel costly and fleeting, even when you intend to stay on task. Let's talk practical biology-based moves you can act on today. Start by auditing your attention wallet. Note which apps routinely pull you in and when. Remove easy access to non-essential ones or switch their role from constant companions to occasional tools. Turn off non-critical notifications and use Do Not Disturb or Focus modes to shrink the number of incoming sparks. When you sit down to work, pin a clear goal to a defined focus block, say a solid stretch of time where you won't peek at social feeds. During that block, reduce friction. Keep your phone out of reach, use a dedicated device for work, or set a single gateway app to be your only allowed distraction. Physically, daylight, movement, and sleep quality matter. A brisk walk after meals and a morning light cue can elevate your baseline alertness and dampen the lure of impulse streams. Hydration and regular meals stabilize mood and attention, while mindful breathing or a short reset routine can reset reactivity when a distracting ping lands. Caffeine timing matters too. Use it to bolster, not crash, placing a cup before a focus chunk rather than as a counterweight to fatigue. Now structure your environment and routines around the Neuro-Gatekeeper and the dopamine thieves. Create pre-commitments that raise the cost of distraction. For example, declare a personal rule. Work blocks are sacrosanct, and social apps stay closed during those times. Replace the pull of a dopamine hit with a higher yield, low-friction alternative, quick notes, a breathing round, or a short stretch that still gives your brain a reward signal without derailing flow. When you do slip, don't chase guilt. Analyze what pulled you in, adjust your gatekeeping, and resume with a clearer path. Use simple defaults, grayscale displays to dull the lure of vivid images, and screen time boundaries that shrink the dopamine jackpot from constant novelty to predictable, manageable moments. The goal is not denial but better alignment of your biology with your intentions, so focus feels less like a battleground and more like a natural state you can sustain. In real life, these tweaks compound. People who reduce push notifications, establish quiet work windows, and orient their day around deliberate focus blocks report fewer interruptions and deeper engagement with challenging tasks. The dopamine thieves still exist, but their power ebbs when the Neuro-Gatekeeper has clear thresholds and fewer doors left open. You reclaim control not by shouting at yourself for weak will but by reshaping your environment, routines, and biology to support durable attention. When you protect your attention wallet, you preserve energy for the work that matters, and the shift happens one deliberate choice at a time. Why focus is your most valuable asset in 2026. Focus is the new currency because the work that truly moves the needle now rests on deep, uninterrupted attention. In a landscape crowded with alerts, your ability to stay with a task is what separates progress from constant starting and stopping. The attention wallet is real and limited. Every second you spend on a distraction is a withdrawal. The Neuro-Gatekeeper decides what your brain allows you to engage with, and it's more selective than most people realize. When you manage attention well, you own momentum. When you don't, momentum owns you. The pull of the digital world isn't a mystery. The dopamine thieves operate behind every notification, every like, every fresh headline, nudging you toward the next micro-reward. Apps are engineered to reset your focus in tiny spurts, delivering unpredictable pulses of gratification that feel like progress. Your willpower, powerful as it is in the right moment, buckles under a design that makes staying with a task feel costly and leaving it feel immediately rewarding. In practical terms, you don't lose focus because you're weak. You lose it because the systems around you are tuned to grab attention with precision and speed. The brain learns to crave those surprise rewards, building habits that push you toward the next ping instead of the next milestone. Protecting focus requires a clear map of biology in action and a few stubborn, repeatable practices. Start with sleep, light, and movement. Consistent sleep helps your gatekeeper stay sharp. Bright morning light synchronizes mood and energy, and regular movement reinforces neural pathways that support sustained attention. Food matters too. A steady trickle of protein stabilizes energy, while large, heavy meals can dampen alertness after eating. Hydration matters too, because even mild dehydration can sap cognitive clarity. Ultradian rhythms, cycles of energy that unfold over roughly an hour and a half, suggest working in focus blocks and resting briefly to reset. Caffeine can be helpful, but timing matters. Early day caffeine supports wakefulness for important tasks, while late day doses can linger and reduce sleep quality, making the next day harder to focus. Design your environment like a cockpit for intention. The Neuro-Gatekeeper thrives when friction is low for distractions and high for attention tasks, so raise the friction for interruptions. Turn off non-essential notifications, designate a single device for essential work, and keep the rest out of sight. Create a ritual that signals focus mode and use it consistently, so the brain learns to switch gears quickly. Build focus blocks into your day. Choose one meaningful task, commit to a fixed window, and sprint through with single tasking as the default. The goal isn't perfection, it's predictability. You want a reliable rhythm where deep work and rest alternate in a way that strengthens your attention over time. When a distraction does arise, name it briefly, then return to the task without judgment, so the mind doesn't hitch a ride on self-criticism. What you practice becomes your brain's new habit. The dopamine thieves lose their grip as you nudge your biology towards steadier energy, clearer signals, and more purposeful action. Track progress with simple measures: how long you stay on a task, how often you switch tasks, and how refreshed you feel after a work block. Pair your routines with small wins to reinforce momentum. Celebrate finishing a chunk of work, not just starting it. The payoff is practical and tangible. Fewer context switches, faster decisions, and a growing sense that your attention is an asset you control, not a casualty of the feed. Reclaiming focus isn't about heroic willpower in a moment of stress. It's about shaping a biology-driven environment where deep work becomes the default and distractions become the exception. The brain's weakness: why we prefer scrolling to real work. People reach for their phones many times a day, chasing quick bursts of novelty rather than sustained, meaningful work. The brain treats surprise as a reward, and scrolling supplies a steady stream of small, uncertain rewards that keep attention pinging from one thing to the next. Each ping or swipe acts like a tiny lottery ticket, and the brain learns to crave the next ticket even when a real task would yield deeper progress. The effect is a lightweight, high-frequency habit loop. Cue appears, craving grows, action is taken, reward lands, cue returns, craving returns. Momentum builds quickly, and focus starts to feel like a fragile asset. The brain's reward system is being gently exploited by design. The dopamine thieves come in as notifications, likes, and new content, flipping the switch on curiosity and interrupting ongoing effort. Algorithms predict what you might click next and feed you a stream of unpredictable rewards in a constant loop. The Neuro-Gatekeeper struggles to filter input when every moment offers a fresh spark. Your attention wallet has a fixed balance, and scrolling spends it in tiny, daily charges that add up. It's not laziness. It's biology meeting a clever system that rewards distraction. To reclaim focus, see attention as a precious commodity and treat your environment as a security system for your brain. The Neuro-Gatekeeper strengthens when you set clear priorities and pre-commit to them. The dopamine thieves retreat when you reduce access points and remove habit framing triggers. The attention wallet grows stronger when you guard it and deploy it in service of real work rather than endless novelty. Start by identifying 2 or 3 tasks that truly matter today and commit to finishing them before you allow anything else to enter your screen. This is practical, not punitive. Make your surroundings harder for scrolling and easier for focus. Turn off non-essential notifications and move the phone away from your immediate reach during work blocks. If a task demands deep attention, create a dedicated, clutter-free workspace. No tabs, no apps, just the work. Use deliberate, small routines that cue your brain for focus. Wind down the notifications, close the excess windows, then start with a single, undistracted step toward a goal. Use friction as a feature. Require a deliberate action to open a social app, such as entering a password and waiting a moment before the click. Pair focus with a visible reward only after a meaningful milestone is reached, not after a skim of headlines. By reshaping cues and reducing unpredictability, you weaken the hold of the dopamine thieves and empower the Neuro-Gatekeeper to do its job. The Gatekeeper Rule, a simple way to block out noise. Attention is finite and easily siphoned by buzzing devices and endless feeds. The Gatekeeper Rule creates a protective buffer that turns intention into action. Your brain treats focus like money in an attention wallet, and every interruption clinks coins away from the goal. The Neuro-Gatekeeper is the internal regulator that decides what signals pass and which stay out. The dopamine thieves whisper that the next ping will feel rewarding, so you answer, and the pattern feeds itself. Algorithms on screens are tuned to maximize engagement, not to help you finish tasks. Audit your noise before you start. List the sources that pull you off track, from apps to unnecessary tabs to background chatter. Then design a simple gate, a rule you can enforce with a single action at the moment you begin work. For most people, that means creating friction to access non-essential stimuli. Put the phone somewhere out of reach, switch on a focus mode, or set a clear window for checking messages. The goal is to size the gate so slipping through requires deliberate effort, not a slip of habit. Build a ritual that makes gatekeeping automatic. Before a work block, declare the intention, then enact 2 quick steps that seal the gate. Move devices away and snap on a single task mindset. In practice, you might place your phone in another room and open a calm, single task workspace on your computer. If a thought about checking something slips in, acknowledge it and relock the gate with a short, physical cue, like closing the lid or turning away, so the next intrusion becomes a conscious choice, not a reflex. Track your blocks in a simple log to see how often you start and reclose the gate. Willpower alone struggles against algorithms because the brain prefers rewarding anything now over delayed gains, and apps are designed to exploit that impulse. The dopamine thieves hijack the moment you reach for novelty, and an algorithm keeps feeding that craving with quick hits. The Gatekeeper Rule counters this by shrinking the temptation playground and by reorienting reward toward the task you want finished. When you treat attention as a trade you actively manage, you reclaim momentum. Fewer interruptions, deeper work, quicker results. A practical starter plan, then, is straightforward. Identify your top noise sources and decide one gatekeeping rule for each. A single action that closes the door on distraction at the outset. Create your gate before any deep work, not after you're already half-typed into a draft. Practice this daily, and your Neuro-Gatekeeper strengthens. The gate stays closed longer, and focus becomes your default setting. If you stray, reset quickly and re-engage with the same simple ritual. Consistency compounds, and with it your attention becomes less a product of luck and more a deliberate choice. Step 1. Clean your space. How your desk affects your brain. Clutter on the desk forces the brain to juggle more visual signals than it needs. Every stray paper, gadget, or sticky note competes for attention, pulling energy away from the task at hand. The result is a thinner attention wallet, a smaller reserve you can actually deploy to focus. Think of your workspace as a gate you want to keep calm and predictable. When it's crowded, the Neuro-Gatekeeper spends time processing noise instead of guarding your goal. The dopamine thieves thrive on quick cue temptations, and a messy surface provides easy targets. Start with a clean slate, and only what truly serves the current task should be in sight. Empty the desk, then reassemble with intention. A single, clear focus cue visible at a glance, a dependable pen, a notepad, and nothing else that isn't essential. Put everything else away out of sight, ideally in drawers or bins with lids. If cables fidget, tuck them neatly. A tidy surface acts like a calm runway for your attention, letting the brain skip the stray distractions and spend energy on the work that matters. A simple habit here can change the day. Before you begin, run a mental audit of what belongs on the desk and what belongs in storage. Ergonomics and environment matter as much as cleanliness. A monitor at eye level reduces unnecessary neck movement and helps your posture stay alert rather than fatigued. Lighting should be bright enough to keep you awake without glare that triggers strain. Natural light or a cool, neutral white can sharpen attention. Quiet or controlled sound helps too. If your space is loud, consider soft background noise or a white noise solution to keep the brain from chasing every random sound. A small plant or even a touch of green can lower stress and subtly improve mood, reinforcing the sense of order and calm on the desk. Color matters. Avoid chaotic patterns and opt for a restrained palette that reduces visual noise. Pair the physical with the digital, because the mind hates incongruence. Put your phone away or in a dedicated focus drawer during deep work, and switch off non-essential notifications on the computer. Use a single, prominent cue that signals focus mode, and keep unrelated items out of sight. This isn't about rigidity, it's about creating reliable anchors. When the space looks predictable, the brain doesn't waste energy interpreting what everything is. It simply follows the cue to stay on task. With this environment, the attention wallet stays fuller for the work that matters. The dopamine thieves have fewer easy openings, and the Neuro-Gatekeeper can do its job with fewer interruptions. In practice, end each session with a quick reset. Return items to their assigned spots, wipe the surface, and set one clear next step cue for the next day. Step 2. The 90-minute rule. Working with your body's natural energy waves. Every few hours your mental fuel rises and falls in predictable patterns known as ultradian rhythms. The brain's energy flows in waves, not a straight line, and for many people those waves hover around 90 minutes from peak to dip. That ebb and flow shows up as bright focus, then creeping distraction, then a relief that invites another sprint. Working with those natural cycles turns attention into a renewable resource rather than a brittle talent you must will into place. The 90-minute rule uses those waves instead of fighting them. Plan roughly 90 minutes of concentrated work, followed by a short reset to recharge. You're not counting minutes so much as riding the cycle with intention. Start a timer, commit to one meaningful outcome in that window, and then honor a break that truly resets your brain. The goal is not to squeeze more hours, but to extract higher quality minutes in each block. Think of your attention wallet filling up during the peak and needing a small deposit during the dip. Willpower alone tends to stall when faced with algorithms that exploit our cravings. The dopamine thieves pull us toward instant rewards, pings, likes, new messages, while the Neuro-Gatekeeper struggles to keep us from wandering. The brain loves novelty and quick hits, and you've likely noticed how a single notification can derail a 90-minute sprint. In contrast, organizing your environment and routines creates built-in resistance to those impulses. You'll see better results when you couple the rule with purposeful barriers rather than grit alone. Practical steps to reclaim focus begin with a simple energy map. Track 2 or 3 days when you're riding the wave and note when you feel most alert, when you dip, and what activities align with those moments. Build your day around 3 to 4 90-minute blocks that match those peaks. Prepare the task you'll tackle in each block ahead of time and minimize decision fatigue by using a consistent template for similar work. Turn off non-essential notifications and use a single-task mindset during the block, labeling interruptions as temporary energy leaks you can fix later. Use a lightweight timer and a ritual to start the block. Soft music, a glass of water, a 30-second stretch. The Neuro-Gatekeeper is about shaping boundaries so the brain isn't flooded with micro-distractions every minute. Your attention wallet should tally the focus minutes you accumulate, the interruptions you prevent, and the outcomes you deliver. A concrete daily rhythm might look like this. Begin with a 15-minute warm-up that primes focus, then dive into a 90-minute deep work period on a high-priority task. Take a 15-minute reset that includes light movement and sunlight exposure. Repeat for a second block, then have a longer intentional break for meals and recharge. If meetings or collaborations are unavoidable, keep them in the later blocks or convert them into shorter sprints that don't disrupt your core focus windows. For creative or analytical work, align the most demanding tasks with your morning peak, reserving routine or administrative tasks for the dip. In real life, the 90-minute rule isn't a rigidity trap. It's a biology-informed framework you can adapt. Start by protecting 2 to 3 90-minute blocks per day and gradually expand as you feel steady. Use the attention wallet to measure progress, not pressure. When the algorithm nudges you, push back with barriers that are easy to uphold but hard to ignore. Your focus isn't a stubborn muscle. It's a skill sharpened by timing, environment, and deliberate practice. Step 3. The brain dump. How to stop worrying about unfinished tasks. Your attention is a scarce resource, and unfinished items stack up in the mind like IOUs. The brain dump is a disciplined exhale for that load, turning internal worries into external notes so the brain can reset. When the mind is cluttered, small interruptions feel like alarms. When it's clear, you notice what truly matters. The attention wallet gets lighter, and you suddenly have real leverage to choose where to spend your focus. First, capture everything that tugs at your attention. Write down tasks, reminders, ideas, worries, and even fleeting thoughts about what you should do. Don't judge or organize yet, just transfer them to one place. The dopamine thieves feed on lingering uncertainty, so you want to pull those items out before they start looping in your head again. Use a simple tool you'll actually use: a notebook, a document, or a dedicated app. The goal is externalization, not perfection. Second, suspend evaluation. Let the items sit as raw entries on the page or screen. Do not decide priorities in this moment. If a task screams for immediate action, you'll see it when you triage. If it's vague or speculative, mark it with a tag like "clarify later." This phase scales down mental friction and avoids the trap of trying to problem solve while your brain is still carrying the burden. The Neuro-Gatekeeper in your head loosens its grip on every line you write because you've taken the signal out of the noise. Third, triage with a simple framework. Do now, today, or within an hour. Schedule, put a specific time in the calendar. Delegate, someone else handles it. Or drop, not worth doing. Convert each item into a concrete action when you reach the do now stage. For example, draft email to team becomes a single action. Write the email with a clear objective and a deadline. Each decision reduces ambiguity and preserves bandwidth for the next task. When you see more than a couple of tasks in do now, your brain will know you're carrying too much. The dump gives you a true read on capacity. This isn't just paperwork. It's a biology-informed reset. Willpower falters against algorithms that reward novelty and micro-engagement, because those signals hijack the brain's dopamine system. The brain learns to chase the next ping, the next shiny distraction, and interruptions multiply. Externalizing tasks interrupts that loop by removing internal triggers. With fewer internal dramas, you resist those dopamine-driven urges to chase the next alert. The brain dump also reinforces the Neuro-Gatekeeper's job. With a clean slate, attention can be more reliably directed at the task you've chosen, not at the next temptation. When your environment supports this, single tasking becomes feasible, not heroic. To make it stick, turn the brain dump into a steady ritual. Do it at a consistent time each day, ideally after you finish your morning work or right before you step away from your desk. Keep it brisk. 10 minutes is plenty when you're disciplined about capture, delay, and triage. Keep a dedicated place for the dump, and reuse the same structure each time so your brain learns the pattern quickly. Revisit the do now list at a fixed point after the dump, so decisions aren't left to habit or impulse. If a problem resists triage, write down what would make it concrete, then park it again with a tag like "needs context" until you can fix it. The result is not a miracle cure but a practical shift. You reclaim your attention wallet by removing the weight that makes focus feel risky. You gain the sense that you own your day, not the other way around. When the mind feels lighter, you respond with intention rather than reflex. The brain dump, done consistently, becomes a quiet engine for sharper decisions, steadier attention, and a faster path from intention to action. The real gain, what you get back when you stop being distracted: time and energy. Attention is a finite resource. When you drift, you don't just lose a minute or two, you burn cognitive energy that you could have spent on your best work. The brain pays a cost for every switch between tasks, a tug-of-war that steals momentum and quiets clarity. In practical terms, the real gain from stopping distraction is measurable in time saved and energy conserved, both of which compound into bigger, higher quality output over days and weeks. Think of your focus as an attention wallet. Every interruption spends a coin you'll need for the next meaningful task. The dopamine thieves are loud in the background, flicking buzzers and little rewards that lure you into checking, scrolling, reacting. Your brain anticipates a reward and releases a quick burst of dopamine. When the payoff doesn't deliver lasting value, you're left chasing the next hit. The Neuro-Gatekeeper can be trained to filter better, but it gets overwhelmed by constant streams of novelty. Algorithms know this. They design cues to hijack your attention, and willpower alone struggles to resist a well-timed ping. To reclaim the real gain, start by protecting the attention wallet. Cut non-essential interruptions, turn off or delay non-urgent notifications, and create a physical and digital space that invites deep work. Schedule moments to check in rather than letting checks appear everywhere. Align demanding tasks with your energy peaks, so you bring focus where it matters most instead of grinding through in a fog. Build friction around distractions. Require deliberate action to switch tasks, use blocking apps, and keep distracting devices out of easy reach. Develop a quick reset ritual after any interruption. Close what you opened, restate the goal, take a couple of slow breaths to rebind attention to the task. Biology gives you levers you can pull for durable change. Sleep, hydration, and balanced meals stabilize attention chemistry so effort doesn't crash after a short sprint. Exposure to daylight and light movement sharpen alertness and mood, making it easier to sustain effort on demanding tasks. Caffeine, when used thoughtfully, can support consistent focus rather than a jittery spike. Timing matters more than quantity. Training your brain to single task rewards patience and precision. It also reduces stress hormones that parade through your body when you're constantly interrupted. The Neuro-Gatekeeper responds to consistent cues, a clean environment, a predictable routine, and a short, repeatable process for returning to work after a distraction. A practical example shows this in action. A writer blocks out a chunk of the morning for a single project, a programmer uses a strict focus mode, and a student commits to one goal per study session. They silence pull from social feeds, minimize tab clutter, and honor a simple post-brief check-in. Over days, the time spent on the main task grows, energy remains steadier, and errors decline as attention becomes more precise. The effect compounds: fewer context switches, deeper immersion, and a clearer line from intent to result. The real gain is tangible: time reclaimed for the work that truly matters, and energy preserved for the thinking, creation, and problem-solving that defines your performance. With the attention wallet fortified, the dopamine thieves lose their grip, and the Neuro-Gatekeeper starts opening the right doors more often. The practical steps are straightforward, but the impact is real. Build your environment, tune your biology, and commit to disciplined focus rituals. Your best work deserves that investment, and the returns come back as more time, more energy, and better outcomes each day. Your attention belongs to you. Take it back. Attention is a finite resource that your brain allocates to tasks, and it can be pulled in many directions at once. Think of it as an attention wallet with a single balance that drains whenever a tempting cue arrives. The dopamine thieves know how to flash rewards just enough to sparkle interest and pull you off course. The Neuro-Gatekeeper stands at the door, trying to keep focus in, but it is bombarded by constant digital nudges and algorithmic push notifications. Willpower alone often buckles beneath this constant pressure, because the brain's reward system is tuned by fast, intermittent rewards, not steady, long-term effort. The result shows up as scattered attention, unfinished tasks, and that lingering sense of "I meant to focus, but I drifted again." First practical move: design your environment to protect the wallet. Mute non-essential notifications and set a clear, daily window for discretionary checking. Put the phone out of reach during deep work, or use a dedicated device that's stripped of apps that pull attention away. The Neuro-Gatekeeper likes friction, so add small barriers: an extra step to open a distracting app, a password, or biometric check, a short delay before you can switch tasks. The effect is not mystical. It slows down impulses long enough for your deliberate mind to reassert control. Short, focused sprints build momentum, and a consistent rhythm helps your wallet stay stable across the day. Next, map your attention like a financial plan. Define a few focused blocks for high-value work and set a hard stop when the time runs out. Use a simple cue routine reward loop to rewire behavior. When a distraction temptation appears, pause, take 3 slow breaths, and reframe the goal you want to achieve in that moment. The reward comes not from a shiny notification, but from that internal sense of progress, the satisfaction of checking a box or crossing off a subtask. To guard against the lure of perpetual scrolling, keep a cheap, reliable outlet for thoughts, a notepad or voice memo, so you can park distractions safely away rather than letting them gnaw at your attention later. A practical framework sits on top of biology. The attention wallet is nourished by consistent wake times, light exposure, movement, and hydration, not just discipline. Bright morning light helps anchor alertness for the day, while brief movement breaks reset the nervous system between hard tasks. Hydration and steady blood sugar reduce cognitive fatigue that makes tasks feel harder than they are. Use a concrete plan for the day. Identify the top 1 to 3 tasks, map out a single deep work block for each, and protect those blocks with environmental controls. When a thought or urge surfaces during a block, capture it quickly and return to the task, then revisit it at a designated time. This preserves cognitive control and prevents the brain from paying a hidden price for every impulsive glance at the screen. Your attention belongs to you, and reclaiming it is a matter of aligning biology, environment, and habit. Embrace the Neuro-Gatekeeper as your ally by giving it clear, enforced boundaries. Do not rely on willpower alone to outsmart algorithms. Design systems that make focus the path of least resistance. Start with small, repeatable actions today. Disable non-essential alerts, create a two-step check before opening apps, and schedule brief deep work sessions with explicit outcomes. Over time, the dopamine thieves lose their grip as your attention wallet grows steadier, and the return you feel from sustained focus becomes the new normal. Attention is your new currency, and you're holding the vault keys. You're not chasing a trend. You're learning to protect what your brain trades for: deep work, meaningful progress, and momentum. Here's what sticks as you step back into your day. You've got the attention wallet. Every block of focused work is a deposit. Every distraction is a withdrawal. When you treat focus like money, you start budgeting time, not just hoping for motivation to show up. You've also got the dopamine thieves at the door. Every ping, every scroll, every quick hit is a temptation that pays in tiny bursts of pleasure but costs you lasting progress. And standing guard is the Neuro-Gatekeeper. Your routines, your environment, your cues, and your discipline to pass or block distractions. Why willpower alone often fails against algorithms. Modern feeds are engineered to harvest dopamine, to nudge you toward the next click before you even notice you're gone. Your brain learns to chase novelty, and that pattern can overpower raw resolve in seconds. Biology isn't a flaw here, it's a design. But your design can be tuned. Small, repeatable actions beat heroic but fragile willpower every time. So what do you do right now to reclaim your focus with biology in your corner? First, design your Neuro-Gatekeeper. Create a simple pre-work ritual. Lock your goal to one clear objective for the block, and remove non-essential devices from the workspace. Second, strengthen your attention wallet. Use time blocking, a single task mindset, and a visible commitment, a timer, a note, a cue, that signals you've started and you're finishing. Third, patch the dopamine thieves. Turn off non-critical notifications, set social media windows, and build friction to switching tasks so you can stay with the task at hand. Fourth, optimize your biology. Prioritize sleep and light to reset your circadian rhythm. Hydrate, move, and eat in a way that supports steady energy. Fifth, rehearse micro resets. When you feel the pull, take a 60 to 90 second breath, stretch, or a quick walk to re-anchor attention before you dive back in. If you try one thing today, pick the simplest. Silence or relocate the device during your focus block and announce your goal aloud to seal the commitment. Then notice how much easier it is to deliver on that tiny promise. You're not chasing perfection. You're building a reliable system that respects how your brain works. I know it's tempting to feel alone with this struggle, but you're not. The brain can relearn its rhythm with the right cues and routine. In the next video, we'll map a concrete 7-day attention reboot plan with daily cues, micro wins, and a step-by-step checklist you can copy into your calendar. We'll test a practical schedule that aligns with your biology, not just your willpower. If this resonated, like it, subscribe, and share it with someone who wants to reclaim their focus. Leave a comment with the first change you'll try and what you expect to notice in your day. I'll respond and we'll tailor the next steps together. See you in the next one, where we turn focus from a wish into a repeatable, bankable habit.